And we are so back. First time joining, you found my account on Instagram. Have been waiting to watch me work my magic. Lovely, lovely. Magic is maybe a little pushing it, but I'll do what I'll see what I can do. I have one more thing in my streaming setup that I just need to get, which is this little guy here over to the left. There you go. Nice to meet you too. All right. Um, these days we start with let's these days we start with a little bit of gesture drawing. These are from yesterday. We didn't do these in 5 minutes. So I'll just get started on some 30-second gestures. Get warmed up. Then we'll do some more of that mannequinization that you just saw a bit of. This is something I'm trying to practice at the moment. And then I've got a personal concept project that I'm working on. So that's what's on the docket. Line of Action is a good site for croquis reference. Unlimited images. There you go. And the site I use has these little alarms every time we get close to the end. I just usually mute that. These are reference studies, time to 30 seconds just to get warmed up a little bit. Did you art yourself, Silio Sol? I had a couple viewers come on that just did not do art at all. I guess those weren't the ones that stuck around. I think it's much more common for people to vibe with me if they draw themselves. I'm interested to see how the music is gonna go today. Usually we do albums, but it takes a little bit of time every morning to queue up like 6 albums that I like. So today I just went for like a playlist of all my liked songs. So I can imagine that it'll be a bit incoherent, a little bit of a confused playlist. Should all be good music though. But you can already tell there's a good amount of like tonal shifting between each song. Oh well. If it doesn't work, we'll shift. We'll switch it up later. Try that one again. All right. I like this leg gesture. This stepping out. She's kind of twisting her legs inwards. And I think like the subject of today is going to be legs as well, because that was something I was uh, struggling a bit with yesterday, or not quite where I wanted to be with yesterday. Like, I think there's gains to be harvested there, I guess is what I'm saying. There's stuff to learn. I think it's always a nice, like, little gestural thing to get that stepping in the knee. And I'm actually griefing a little bit. It's not quite as pronounced as it could be in these drawings. But this idea of having the knees be a step down. Mornings, he did it. Tomorrow he'll be more on time. But he did show up. No, this is progress. Yesterday you didn't do this. You're trying to start a new habit. This is good. This is winning. Nice. Get him. This is a miss. Because in the reference there really is like a significant stepping inwards here. Or outwards, I guess. That's way closer than what I had before. What's with the bangers? Yeah, well, we're just doing liked songs today. I was too lazy to spend the time to find albums. So it's literally just like shuffle playing my liked songs on well, I can't say that. It's just shuffle playing my liked songs. Please tell me that you guys can hear them, right? Like that the volume's fine? Sick. Winning. Okay, sure. Couple more 30-seconders till the page is full. Then we move on. That's the sound of an eagle emoji. It's the sound of an eagle emoji when you're a little bit tired in the morning and not really ready to fully commit yet. That's 30 seconds? Holy shit. Oh, thank you so much. Doing what I can. Doing my best. I'm still not, and I guess have never been fully comfortable in the 30-second studies. I like taking my time a little bit more. You need to keep him humble. Yeah, yeah. Careful, don't feed my ego. It is so sponge-like and out of control. Be careful then. Good, good, good. I will be one day. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're trying to be. We're climbing, working out. You get bigger. Okay, one more, and then some mannequinization practice. So really, I just use the 30 seconders for like a low pressure, easy way to draw some lines and warm up. And then, you know, it's one of those things where I don't fully believe in the power of the 30-second gesture practice, but a lot of people I know do. So just in case, you know, I'm doing it these days. Normally I am more about, yeah, taking my time, trying to intentionally think and learn something. So that is what we're going to be doing in just a second. We can do better on that one. Space somewhere, space somewhere. A lot of them are animators. Well, it wouldn't be for drawing faster reasons. I think the reason why animators really like a 30-second gesture is, as a practice, is it's supposed to make you looser. And so people that really like 30-second gestures usually talk about like capturing an energy that you can't when you think about it. Like capturing a flow, capturing a sense of movement that you can apparently only capture intuitively. And that would be the idea. Not that it's not necessarily that it's faster. But the thinking that I often hear is that, oh, well, it's also better because you capture magic that you can't if you're just thinking about things. which I'm a little bit of press X to doubt on that one. No, but you can focus on line of action in 2 minutes, and then maybe you can even have like a conscious thought about that line of action. You don't have to do it in 30 seconds to think about flow and rhythm. Tends to be my take anyway. Now, mannequins. I don't have a good system for legs. This is the point where I look around a bit for some good reference. Oh, you can recognize some of the reference? Yeah, that is. Well, I guess line of action has like a pretty limited reference library. That this tends to start happening. That you're like, oh, that's that one, huh? Okay, I'm gonna paste some art in here that's not mine. This is by TP Choi, art by TP Choi. We had like a studies disclaimer. Studies. Just letting you know this is not my art. It's by TP Choi. But this is one strat. It's not like the same mannequinization system for the legs across these. But TP Choi the GOAT indeed. Something I notice is like her use of segmentation. That like upper leg thigh is one segment, knee is one segment. The gastrocnemius region of the lower leg, so like the calf is one segment, and then the ankle is one segment, right? I want a color that shows up better on both the gray and the white. This is going to be tall order. And that's like in a lot of these, you have that segmentation where it's like thigh, one segment, knee, one segment, upper calf, one segment, ankle, one segment. And that's nice because each of those regions have their own mass, their own gesture. It is more of like a gestural way to mannequinize the leg. It's not really super strict in terms of form. Yeah, gestural. But I see you. It's crazy how the language and names in Clair Obscur actually come from the art world to some degree, because it's a game inspired by art and painting. Well, this is just like TB Choi's model, right? Most artists will have their own model, or just a model of mannequinization, especially if they draw figures a lot. Um, I like TB Choice. Again, this is why I bring her up this much, and I look at it this much, and I try to study it this much. Is I like a lot that it is more gestural and intuitive. And less form based than some very strict mannequinization systems. Right. So this is my idea of, and it is just my idea. It is not necessarily the truth, but it is my idea of how TB Joy thinks about legs. It's a little bit disproportionate here. Something I'm not very good at yet is how the knee deforms in these types of mannequins. Or just how it looks in motion, in movement. Still don't have like a good solve for that. Okay. That's one idea. There's this one other artist, what's their name? That I've seen doing a lot of mannequinization practice on ArtStation. Here we go. 1010. And you can see here's kind of, so this is again, not me, not my art. You can see 1010 here has kind of the same logic, right? Thigh segment. There's like a buttock segment. It's a kneecap segment, knee segment. And then in this case, the calf and the ankle is one segment, but you can still tell that like the form is kind of dual. There's this mass around the gastrocnemius, and then there's the ankle here, right? Oh wait, oh no. No, we're good, we're good, we're good. And this is where I then... This is also not a very strict system, but it does work. Right, I kind of want to compare with Tom Fox, because he usually has more strict form-based mannequins. Yeah, yeah. This is like insane person mannequins. I'll show you in a second. Yeah, okay. It's always tricky to find space for the book. So here's one idea. Very simple, very easy to understand. Very practical, but not very strict, and so not necessarily always very accurate. And then let's take this person, for example, and this person, and let's draw at least one of them with a Tom Fox mannequin. All right, so the rib cage here, I'm not gonna do it like he does it. I just wanna establish the space, the positioning here, and then let's go crazy. So first of all, he draws like a proper pelvis in his mannequins, or like at the very least an approximation, a geometric approximation of a pelvis. Okay. So there's that, a geometric approximation of a pelvis in this pose. Then I guess, give me a second. Then he does like big spheres for the mass of the buttocks. And then he sticks a hip bone onto that. I'll just do the quick gesture so that we can build the form on top of that. And this song isn't vibes right now. You know what's vibes instead? Okay. This is gonna go crazy. And then this leg, that's the rough gesture. Shrink this rib cage up, tilt it further. Okay. Then bro starts with like a box, which he cuts the corners off of. Something like that. I can already tell this is not going to be my style of mannequin. I think also a lot of Tom Fox's mannequins work better for understanding the form than for drawing the form. Like his thinking is that you're supposed to abandon these mannequins eventually. Block on the end signifies the end of the femur. Hey Sukor, how you doing? How you doing? We're doing some mannequinization practice. I won't believe what you've bought. Probably not. The deed to an oil mine? An oil mine. What's that called? The deed to a gold mine. That would be cooler. That would be unbelievable. A new OLED monitor. OLED, OLED? Heck if I know. Yeah, I guess I set you up for failure on that one because that's not as cool as a gold mine. This is insanity. We won't be doing this. This is this is crazy. Why would I ever draw a leg like that? Ever again? Your screen finna be better. This is true. This is true. It is known. What's the color space and color accuracy on it? Like what's the delta E value on it? Does it have Adobe sRGB? I think mine has like, actually doesn't have Adobe sRGB. Maybe it has like 70% of that color spectrum. I think it has Rec 709. Well, Adobe sRGB it's a color space. It's an industry standard color space for. I forget. It's not like a. It hasn't got anything to do with Adobe software. It's a standard for color space. Yeah, I'm not going to be drawing legs like that. This is a slightly different version. It's never going to happen. This is like a demonstration of the form. This is like an actually usable way to mannequinize. Oh, you found the actually emote. What a masterpiece. It looks like Mecha. Yeah, sure. Believe it or not, I still do think this is like a valid simplification of the forms of legs. It's just not very like applicable as like a blocking in mannequin. And that's more what I'm looking for, is like way to block in the legs accurately, efficiently. Okay, ease up on the Kanye. This is what? This is adductors. As well as, actually there's a bunch of tendons in here, huh? Because it's also semimembranosus and semitendinosus, as well as it's the adductors. inserting down here on the tibia. I think this is an important landmark in mannequinizing the leg, is these tendon groups that sort of grip the sides of the bones in the lower leg. You have the same kind of thing on the outside, where it's the iliotibial band, it's the vastus lateralis, and then it's the biceps femoris, all coming down and forming the same sort of tag that then goes into tibia and fibula on the outside. Do I have a good anatomy book that would show me this in terms of muscles? Let's take a look. You just roll the dice and hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, that's an approach. I just I really want to understand everything I draw, because I firmly believe that that leads me to better drawings. And it leads me to be able to draw them from, well, invention, imagination. Damn. Where is that? I know I have some art books digitally somewhere. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm just searching in my in my file folders right now for that one spot where I know I have art books. Here we go. There we are. Here's anatomy for sculptors. Let me find legs, legs, legs. Lower limb 185. All right. There's the bones. We know the bones. Well, except the bones of the foot. I'm not not an expert on those. Okay. Nice bones. They're mannequins. They're not bones. They're boneless. Okay. I did find the books. I did find the books. I have them off to the side now. All right, there you go. And then I want to draw it from the inside too. So I have anatomy for sculptors off to the side. I'm just drawing from the legs section of that book. Any difference? Any significant difference here? Well, obviously the other muscles, yeah, so. I like this break in the leg. This is essentially like a TP Choi-ism that I've started doing. I think that might just be like a taste thing. I like the way that looks rather than just the straight. And it's a good little thing to distinguish like the ankle from the calf as well. This is the inside, so you would have that. Like a little bit more space here. We'll do the full turnaround. Essentially, you guys are just sitting in like on a Jacob study session. But that is the first half of the streams. I gotta get my studies in sometime. Okay. A big thing that I don't fully understand or haven't fully implemented in my legs is what's going on around the knee. And it is, I don't know, it's this stair stepping around the kneecap. Where the kneecap kind of protrudes. In front of those sort of tendon tags we talked about just a second ago. You're studying along. How do I recommend doing the ankles best? Yeah, it's tricky. It's difficult. I don't know. I think it's important to emphasize that the ankles are skinnier than the calf. That is one of the most important, like, graphic and gestural statements that happen in the lower leg. And I think I spent a long time. This is like a classical Jacob mistake. Is making the ankles too fat, essentially too wide. And if you do that, you kind of lose a lot of the interest and the contrast in the lower leg. And then I just talked about how I like this break. This comes from the fact that you have some muscle on the front of the lower leg. Specifically, you've got on the outside laterally, you have the tibialis anterior that kind of bulges out a little bit. On the front, and that allows you to simplify the leg into sort of these curves. And that's just, but again, I think that's a taste thing. I don't think you have to do that. But what's important is to emphasize how either straight or just geometric the front of the lower leg is compared to the front of the thigh. And then ankle specifically. When it gets into the foot, you have these two bones, the malleoli, that almost they grip the foot bones almost kind of like a monkey wrench. I think this is like a Proco model or phrasing. I think a lot of artists think about it like this, that it's essentially, like a wrench that grips the form of the foot. And then I'm still working on fine tuning this bit of anatomy and my mannequin. But this is like my underlying idea of the form. And then when you're actually drawing the ankles, I've noticed that it actually looks a lot better if you just kind of imply that understanding of the form and don't draw it out fully, right? Happy to help. Bro loves drawing anatomy in general. Yeah, cool. Glad to help. But I do want to caveat that I'm still figuring this out. So my model it's not where I want it to be yet. I'm still fine tuning it. Cool. Ironically, like anatomy is one of my I guess special interests in art, but I also feel less comfortable teaching it because there's so much nuance to be found that I haven't yet. And I mean, this is the case for anything that I teach. But I guess there's a Dunning-Kruger effect to it, right? Where I know more about what I don't know. Oh, congrats on the shoes. Shoes are tough. How much is Dunning-Kruging me right now? I'm being Krugered so hard right now. There's a clip for you. Quick clip it. This could be his downfall. Oh, while we're on it, really important thing about ankles, really super duper important thing about ankles. The medial, that is to say inner malleolus, is higher than the lateral, that is to say outer malleolus. So you know how the inner calf dips lower than the outer calf? Well, it's the opposite in the ankles. So you can kind of draw these two lines as a guide to tell you where to place the peaks of the calves and the ankles. Really important little bit to be aware of. You can remember it as like when you mirror it to the other side as like an X or an angry face. That's the mnemonic device that I have from cynics. Really important little bit to be aware of. They're angled. They are indeed. They are indeed. So the wrench isn't the full story, but it's a really good sort of mental image to have, I think. His best friend, the floor. Yeah, Cynic's great. Used to watch him a lot. Definitely a good way to get like your basics established. And then the back. I'm trying to emphasize this stair stepping as well. I think there's a little bit, it could be exaggerated a little bit more without breaking. There's a inward step from the front, or from the side, sorry. There's also sort of an inward step or an outward step from the front when you look at the gesture of the leg overall. That I like a lot. Cool. Last bit of our little leg turnaround here. Would be the back view. And then let's try to remember that stepping outwards. An important idea here is from the back, those groups of tendons on the inside where you have the adductors as well as the semimembranosus, semitendinosus coming down. So this group of tendons here, and on the outside where you have the vastus lateralis as well as the biceps femoris coming down. Those groups of tendons kind of almost that same wrench idea as we talked about for the ankle. It just doesn't go like in afterwards like that. But they kind of grip this form of above the calves. Where this form, I think it's just like it's like soft tissue. There's some skin. There's some veins. There's kind of a gap in the musculature. But there is a form here most often, like a soft rounded form that these sets of tendons kind of grip. So again, that's something I'm trying to find like an appealing way of including in my mannequins. And remember our little angry smiley. Achilles tendon. Okay. You struggle with arms more? I feel like I struggle with all of anatomy. But that's just, you know, I think that's a quite common feeling. Like, especially if you care about it. Like, you set your standards high. And then it's very common to be able to see when something is good more than to be able to reproduce the good. The goodness Stair step. Stair step. Specifically shoulders. Oh, I mean, the shoulder girdle is really tough too. Yeah. I empathize with that struggle. With the clavicle and the scapula. The way those interact, it's a little bit unintuitive how the clavicle rolls back when you lift your arm, for example. I'm a perfectionist? Oh. Maybe. I try to be satisfied with imperfect, but strive for better. Or I guess maybe you don't have to be satisfied. Maybe I don't try to be satisfied, but I try to be, what's the word? Accepting of imperfect. We avoid the P word around these parts. Yeah. We do actually. No, it's I guess you caught my reaction there, the ooh. Because I think being a perfectionist can be very detrimental to your growth. But I think it's very healthy to be able to, or very good for your growth as an artist, to be able to see where you're less strong than, say, another artist, or your goals, or don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You just hit something that I think about. No, I don't feel offended. Do not worry about it. Do not worry about it. I like having these discussions about like minutia of how we think about art. This is something that's very enjoyable to me. And I think my idea of being a perfectionist or not is quite important to how I approach learning. Yeah. Because we're obviously never gonna get to perfect, which is why perfectionism is dangerous. But I think I think striving to improve is fun. Okay. What did we learn? What did I learn? I learned how instrumental these tendon groups are in how I want to draw legs. I learned that break again, relearned that break. Let's see the back of the knee. Maybe there's something to like how high this back of the knee area goes, because it's not just like a little tag that gets gripped by those tendon groups. It actually, I drew it here and from the reference that I'm looking at, so that'll be my understanding for now, kind of goes to like the top of the kneecap. And then there's something to, because when we looked at CB Choi, we did all these middle sections here, but I think it's important to realize that that's like a construct. There isn't like a middle section like that per se. There's the kneecap, the whole knee area, and then there's these tendons that go around to the side. And if you want that middle section, you actually you cut across those tendons artificially. Like we're kind of drawing lines across a lot of the anatomy to make that middle section happen. But it's just easier to understand and lay out if you have a middle section like that. Even though it's not particularly accurate to the anatomy. I think that's an important point for me, and something that's been causing a bit of confusion. Yeah. But it still kind of makes sense to have that middle section, because these tendon groups are like a vastly different form from the muscles that lead into them, right? The muscles do pinch and shrink at the tendons. So it does give this feeling of a middle section to the leg. Even if it isn't quite there. Good, good. Yeah. Yeah, so these sections, that's the big thing. They're useful for blocking in. They're useful for gestural drawing, gestural construction, but they don't completely reflect the anatomy, of course. What's this song? Okay, maybe we skip the Death Grip song. It's good, it's good. It's just not, didn't feel like vibes right now. Look, wrench, wrench. Oh my god, there's a wrench. You're never gonna unsee this wrench again. Drew it a little bit wide, actually, on the front view. Oh, wrong layer. The wrench tip is real good. Yeah, it's a really common tip as well, but it's a nice conception to have. You still need to finesse it a bit to make it work, but it is a good starting point, I feel. One of the big things that I really like about Tom Fox's approach to mannequinization and to figure drawing is that he really stresses the importance of adapting and making your own models, your own mannequins to draw. You gotta find something that works for you, and making your own models will make you remember it so much better than just copying other people's models. Because then you have to first think about the anatomical function of the muscles that you're simplifying, and design from there. Instead of just copying lines that somebody else drew. So a good tip is to now go take that wrench tip and then look at a bunch of legs, look at a bunch of ankles, and try to work that model of the wrench into those angles, into those references, and then adapt it when you feel like the model is lackluster. That is kind of what I'm trying to do with these legs right now. That song, yeah, it's on my liked songs. So, I mean, I guess apparently it's a good song. It is really funny, though. It is really funny. Cool. We'll see how much of that the personal project that I advertised in the beginning of the stream. We'll see how much of that we end up doing. Because I do want to take this like learning loop full circle. And I do think the way to do that is to now find some reference of legs and draw them with my new understanding. I think that's how to hammer in the lessons, which were inward stepping or outward stepping to leg from front and back, as well as this idea of the more nuanced depiction of the anatomy versus the hypersegmentation, and how this is a good first step to then get here. And then these, okay, right, and then these tags here, these muscle tags, tendon tags, really important. I feel like they're kind of important enough that I want them in my simplified model too. Yeah, yeah. I like to verbally remind myself of the lessons that I learned from a study. The idea is that then maybe it sticks better, right? A difference between the two. Oh, I messed that up. This is the outside. Well, the difference is that on the inside, this tendon group is formed by the sartorius, the adductors, the gracilis, and the hamstring. On the inside, that's the inside. I was talking the inside, and on the outside, it's the iliotibial band, and it's the vastus lateralis and the hamstrings. And that's the difference. It's in the muscles that feed into the tendon group. Cool. Let's draw some legs from reference. Can we compress this? Give ourselves a little bit more space, maybe? Cool. And then the starting point is the segments. With that group of tendons there. Okay. And then of course we haven't tested the model in motion yet. So that's part of what this is, right? Okay. And then that's the starting point, and then from there these also aren't the most muscular legs, so it's interesting to see how that affects the mannequin. All right, all right. Not a lot of internal lines that make sense to include for this reference. Burn, baby, burn. All right, next one. Game in a chain reaction. Let me just look at these TB Choi references again. She often cuts across that bit of form above the calves, but still draws it. You can tell these were drawn faster than what I'm doing with these final mannequin studies. I think being a little bit looser with it is probably a good idea. Yeah. And just let the feet be not very good right now because that's not what we're working on. And then move on to the next one. Cool, passable hips. Serviceable. Locked in. We have a locked in emote. I don't know. I think it should be unlocked for followers. And nudge nudge. Locked in. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. He's so locked in that he grew 2 more hands and learned how to draw with all of them. Sure. Sure. Cool. Next up. Sure. Vipver, hello, hello, hi. How you doing? You're joining as we are doing mannequinized legs from reference using knowledge we learned on the stream today. Got some great artwork. Thank you, thank you. We do our best. Fixing to sculpt soon. Also doing well, yes, also doing well. Quite enjoying my morning study sessions. It is nice to be able to make time for that. I mean, this feels like an improvement when it comes to my legs. I like this new tidbit a lot. With that tendon group there. And another one. Ooh, catch this, catch this. There it is. Outward step. There you go. Maybe I exaggerated some of the curves a little bit. That's the point. Is to have this step here. Cool. That's that one. I think the knee is a bit low. That's kind of fine, but okay. This could just be so much more intentional. Yeah, it feels stronger. Man, how good was it that Guardians of the Galaxy had these songs in it? Just noticed my ArtStation that I took part in the Untamed challenge. Yeah, that's a while ago though. That's a different Jacob that did that challenge. No, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you did that prop challenge. Okay. Did you design or produce? Design work or production work? Because there's like a 3D production part to the challenge, right? And then there's like a starts with the design. That one you did production. The design on the King Arthur's one. I quite like the ArtStation challenges. It's a nice way to challenge yourself. Funnily enough. Good way to push yourself. They stopped now? I honestly don't know. I still kind of do them, but just for my personal projects. Like that's just the kind of scope I typically lay out for my personal project. 3 full 3D props in a month. Yeah. Did you do them like VFX ready or game ready? Or just pretty? Part of it is it's supposed to fit in a production, right? For the ArtStation challenge, that was my understanding. Challenge had said rendered back then. But I'm like, how is your topology? Even quads? Were the UVs properly unwrapped? VFX. Okay, yeah. No. I figured not real time. I mean, VFX need good UVs in topology too. The props, there wasn't really much deformation. That's true. You got me. You got me. You got me. Well, then you can save a lot of time. But I understand that it can still be tight. That's rough. That's a low number. That's a low number for a graphics card. All right. Yeah, an i5. Gotta admit, I don't know the specs on that or the stats on that. But that also seems like a low number. i7 and 360 now. It's funny, I don't do a lot of 3D, but I did go hard on the PC specs when I upgraded a couple years ago. I don't know them off the top of my head. I think it's like a 4070 Ti that I have. I don't know the processor. It's in my about section, if you're curious. It is good. No, I know. That's what I said. I went hard on the computer when I got a new one. Yeah, it's just and it's literally just all it is I do some huge Photoshop files once in a while, and I do some 3D blockouts sometimes for concept. Or illustration. I do both. And then let's emphasize that step in. That's important. This is an important thing. Um, Wait, vastus lateralis, rectus femoris, vastus medialis? Point being, the medial quad ends before, and then of course the tendon inserts at the kneecap. So it doesn't become a part of that inner group of tendons. That's two different forms. Damn, you had a 4090 Ti and 256 gigabytes of RAM. That's crazy. That is a beast. Yep, that would be vastus medialis. And then vastus intermedius beneath the rectus femoris. Okay. That's an important distinction. Study's looking solid. Thanks. Thank you. It feels like I made some progress today on my legs. I just gotta keep using it so I don't lose it. And then in a second, I think I'm going to be doing the final boss of the day's practice, which will be trying to invent some of these. Okay. And then it does seem like I taunted you guys with the personal work mentioned in the title. I'm not sure we're gonna get there today. I think it's just leg studies. So now we're inventing for 25 minutes. Right. And specifically the bent knee, I didn't do enough today that I have it, feel like I have it figured out. Locked in, the locked in emote. Just the bit of hype we needed. What a nice sophisticated read of this gesture report. Who knows, you might be right. Let's try and think of an actual pose then. For the culture. Yes, how cultured that would be. Um, Bayonetta as pose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I added the as Bayonetta as just the same way I always will add lur. Oh, I guess we can remove the studies disclaimer because now we're inventing. Something's off about that torso. I don't believe it. A JoJo's Bizarre Adventure pose. You know I like push gestures. That only flexible people can do it. Yeah, I think we're on our way there. Solidly on our way. Oh, Street Fighter. Dude, I should look at Street Fighter art more. I don't believe this foot. Haven't seen Bob's Burgers. Would not know what you're talking about. Many genres of poses. He is well versed in all of them. Few poses can't be named by Quartz creation. Dude, I don't know what you guys are saying. I'm a little lost, gotta admit. AKA Iron Fist. I don't think we did a good job with this pose. Let's just give the legs another pass. In the game? How does he know all those poses? Is it something like this, the falling off a building pose? I don't remember. The Ghost in the Shell one? Kinda got it. Nice, nice. These legs, the calves are bad though. We gotta try that one again. It's like a free fall. Yeah. Your art show is tomorrow. Exciting. Yeah, wish you luck. Whoa, that was close. Almost knocked my glass of water on the floor. Cool. And now legs. Draw a Jacob drawing pose. I'm still on this one. The Ghost in the Shell attempt. Oh, that reminds me. I haven't stood up all morning. Bad, Jacob. That's not how to draw. Sitting down. That is no way to draw. White room, no pads, you hope. I don't know what you're saying. Look at my room. I've seen my room. It is white. I don't know what's with the no pads. Oh, I see. Yeah, actually, the wall behind my PC is all like that. The one to the my right too. Um, the kind people here at the hospital just told me it's fine if I want to broadcast my existence to outside the place that I don't show those walls. They're really good folk. Treat me well. 3 weeks, three meals a day, and such as that, etc. Throwback to that awesome moment in Aladdin where Aladdin says that Jasmine is etc. This is how drawings look with your new pencils? Damn, new pencil buff. Maybe I should buy some new pencils. Legs. Cool. I suspect we'll be drawing some more legs tomorrow, actually. Now that we're on the subject. But this was nice. I really like ending the streams with some invented drawings. It feels like really good practice. Well, I know it's really good practice for what I want to achieve. Don't let Feed Finder find these feet. Oh, that'd be fun. Do like Feed Finder for artists. All the feet that that particular artist has drawn. There's a business idea. $1 million idea. Feel free to steal. I'm not gonna do it. Though obviously still morally reprehensible, it feels a little bit less so. This arm is way too big. All right, well, you guys, that's gonna be all that I have for you today. We did this. We did this. That's the extent of it. It took 3 hours. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye.